Welcome to the What Is She Even Reading podcast.
I'm Claire, and I love to read.
I'm Jeremy, and I don't.
Join us each week as we read through some of today's most popular books as Jeremy discovers what is she even reading. Hello, and welcome back to the What Is She Even Reading podcast. I'm Claire.
I'm Jeremy.
And we're back this week with Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, chapters 12 through 14. So, we'll blanket reminder that this episode will have spoilers for all of Fourth Wing, and now for Iron Flame up to chapter 14. So, if you haven't read either of those or have caught up in Iron Flame, save this and come back. But I think that's it, right?
I think so, yeah.
It was kind of an okay set of chapters.
Yeah.
I mean the middle one was pretty intense.
Yeah, stuff happened, but...
And we kind of left a little bit on a cliff, like in the middle of something, so my bad. I probably should have separated them a little bit better.
That's fine.
We ended with her being searched by Varrish. Mm-hmm. Which one? Varrish.
Varrish.
And then her and Taryn going flying off to go see Xaden and
She's
Sigel.
smuggling stuff over there.
Yeah.
So they didn't search Taryn. Fools.
The little opening quote is about how Sigel watched Xaden kill another cadet for bullying Garrick during threshing, and he thought she chose him for his ruthlessness, but he thinks that she got reminded of his grandfather. And I think it's an expert from the letter.
It's a more recovered correspondence.
Yeah, from him to Violet. Yes. So, a little bit of history on Xaden. He killed some random person during threshing. So it not really flashes forward, but they've landed at the Samara outpost. She's walking in. Taryn's kind of like just hanging out there. He's waiting till she gets behind the wards or sees the wing leader. Right? Which it's funny that she's like, he's not a wing leader anymore, but still calling him that. Yeah.
Calls him.
She can like feel the wards in her veins. There's a hum in her veins.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the first time they flew outside of them.
She could tell.
Yeah. So.
But they're stronger there, which I don't get why. I was confused because I thought the little central ward thing was in Basgiath.
Right.
So
or near it.
I don't know why it's stronger there. I will say one of the critiques of this book is some of the things are a little confusing, which I get, but I also thought Fourth Wing was sometimes confusing and hard to visualize. I don't understand this, like why it's stronger out there versus...
Yeah.
I didn't understand the whole like explanation or anything, but maybe I just didn't get it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she's walking in and he's just waiting for her to get, we said, behind the wards because there's a drift a mile beyond the border, which she's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. But no one seems to care.
No one seems to really care.
And yeah, that's kind of all I wrote. She's walking in and do you have other notes?
Well, they note that it's fairly remote.
Yeah.
Like at least a half hour's flight or something.
Southernmost outpost, right?
Something like that.
Or I might have just made that up.
That sounds right, but I think it was like a half-hour flight or something at least from the closest village. So it's not like Athbean where Resson was right there. And there's 2 companies of infantry and 18 dragons stationed here. And so she keeps... Well, I guess we haven't gotten her to get going inside yet.
Well, she's made it to Xaden's room.
Oh, yeah, so when she's going through it, she thinks it's oddly familiar. Like she almost has like a flashback to Athbean, and she has to like remind herself that it's not there. If they just build them all the same, it's just this one's bigger.
Yeah.
Because it's got twice the number of people. But I think it was funny when she walked through the walls, or like through the gate, whatever. Darren's just like, all right, call if you need me. And he flies off.
Yeah, it's like a mom or dad dropping you off at someone else's house, or like
Dropping you off at school.
Yeah, like, okay, see ya.
Dropping you off at your friend's house, wait till you get inside.
Yeah, then drives away.
Yeah.
So she makes it to Xaden's room. It's empty, and she like can use her bond to like feel where he's at, right?
Yeah.
So she like following this tugging sensation.
Yeah. Well, on her way there, she also noted that she didn't see anyone.
Yeah.
Aside from like the couple guys outside the gate, she didn't see anyone, which she thought was weird. And then she like searches for her bond with him or whatever.
Which, if I were her, I'd just been on the back of a dragon for what, 18 hours? I don't remember how long. A long time. I'd have been like, guess I'm taking a nap while I wait for him to come back, right? A shower.
She's got to see him.
Well, she finds him like fighting, sparring, fighting
in a pit.
And there's like, they're betting on who's going to win. And like,
she does make sure to note that he's shirtless.
Yes.
Important details.
She does oogle him for a little bit.
Very much so.
I didn't write down
any of the
oogling, but she does oogle him for quite a long time. She like goes up to someone and is like, why are they fighting? And there's only one pass for lieutenants this weekend, so he wants it. Which I'm like, what? Because I guess because he wants to see her, right? Yeah. She's talking to this lady, I think, right? And the lady's like, oh, this other guy's got him. Yeah. And Violet's like, no, Xaden's just like playing with him, basically. I think his name was Jarrett, which I was like, of all the names, you couldn't come up with something that wasn't similar to Garrick, right? Jarrett? It's just a J instead of a G.
No, it's Jarrett, not Jarrick.
Okay.
Because it's Garrick.
Okay. Well, it's very similar.
It's very similar.
And I didn't understand.
Well, I don't think he's probably that important of a character.
You never know.
It might be.
But then the lady recognizes her as Lieutenant Sorrengel's sister, not daughter, which she was like, ooh. Yeah. Finally.
I know. This lady also made a comment that it's just a fist fight.
Yeah.
So it's like, eh.
Yeah. Yeah, she's admiring his beauty, blah, blah, blah.
She's turned on.
Oogling.
And she sends a message to him to stop playing around and
because he finally notices she's there.
Yeah.
And I think she gets hit.
Yeah, he gets like punched in the face because he's distracted. Looking at her.
Yeah. And she tells him to stop playing around. Yeah. And she hasn't used through the bond, and she hasn't used the bond since Rescent, so big deal. He wins, but he like is like, oh, I'll only take 24 hours, and he can have the other 24 hours. I didn't write a lot of this, but they are flirting. Then
we learn the lady's name, Cornelia Sahali. Sahali, no clue. That's another character I'm gonna forget about. But she got a full name, so she might be slightly important.
You never know.
But then again, Riddick doesn't have a last name, I don't think so.
Yeah. Is that all we learned from her?
I think so. Yeah. At least I didn't write anything else down.
Yeah. It seemed a little bit of like a filler chapter a little bit, because like, now they're just
he's
kissing.
Fighting to see her. Yeah, then they're just like making out there
for like 2 pages. They're just like making out, and I'm like, aren't they in public?
I thought they had made their way up to his room somehow.
I don't think so.
No, they were down in near the pit.
Like everyone just like left them alone.
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote they have a passionate makeout sesh. And she wants more.
Yeah, and he's like, and she's like, well, we can just keep it physical and not emotional like last year. And he is like, whoa.
No.
Like, I'm not going to use that to get you back, basically. Yes. And he wants those 3 little words.
Yeah.
Which are?
I assume it's I trust you or I love you.
I think it's I love you.
I really don't know. I did write down a quote that I thought was kind of funny. It's from Xaden, and it was in regards to them having relations. Until you are hoarse from screaming my name.
Oh my God. Did you think that was funny?
I thought it was funny.
Okay.
Like, Xaden, you dog.
Okay. Yeah, and that's basically like that little bit. He sends her to go take a shower because he has
got
his
a
own
private bathing
bathroom.
chamber.
Yeah,
because no one wants to share a space
which
with him.
is kind of sad.
I know.
And he like goes to gets her food, and that's that. Well, it jumps to after he's eaten or she's eaten, and they're talking about like the weapons and then again, this was a little confusing. Did you find it confusing?
Yes, because it's like he hands her the dagger and says like the dagger is the alloy, but then the metal in the handle can hold the power.
I don't know.
I don't get it. And
then,
it's like, yeah, it was. What did I say? Yeah, it basically boosts the signal of the wards from the veil.
which I was like, okay, but then why are they the strongest tier? Because you have the most weapons? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't get it. But yeah, they have to be imbued with power.
Yeah.
What do you think that means?
They have to
Well, it
wave
actually
their
tells
hand
you.
around.
Imbuing is the process of leaving power in stasis in an object. A rider has to pour their own power into it, which is not a skill that a lot of them have. So I don't know. How do you think?
That gives her a clue on a book to look for.
You think so?
I think so.
What about like the wards and imbuing them? Maybe. I don't know. I think this was kind of a filler chapter. We learn a little bit about the wards and then weapons, but they have to have like the material. Then they have to have the dragon
to fire the crucible, and then the luminary to intensify the dragon fire hot enough to smelt.
I think do you think the luminary is a person or an object?
I no clue at this point. I was thinking person.
Well, I don't think I think it's an object.
Oh.
But when I first read it, I thought it was a person. Because I thought she was going to be the luminary for a really long time because of the lightning. Mm-hmm. But I believe they're referring to like an object of some sort.
Could be.
So, see, confusing.
Yes.
And that's pretty much all I have for that chapter, which was she gets there, she finds him, they make out.
She wants him.
They talk about
stop.
the wards and the knives, and that's pretty much it.
That was it. So
a little confusing.
A little bit.
But maybe we'll piece together as we go on.
So. Then chapter 13 opens with a quote from the Writer's Codex about the final say in any academic punishment lying with the Commandant's office. Hint, hint.
Mm-hmm.
Know what's coming. So she's flying back, asking Terran if he knows how to raise the wards. You know, it's like, just thought I'd ask. So,
yeah, and he's like, I'm not 600 years old.
I am not 600 years old.
Which I'm like, how old is he? How old do you think he is?
Like 150 maybe? 100?
I'm going to say 200. I really don't know, though. How long do dragons live?
Will they die? I don't know.
Do they die of old age?
I would assume.
These are the questions I have.
Maybe not. I would assume at some point they die.
They might just get killed.
Maybe. So then it jumps ahead a little bit. And
yeah, because she's back. They're flying back.
They're flying back. And then she's on the mountain with Professor Carr.
Yeah, because they called them over there. And Terran's like, what do you want to do? And she's like, well, I have no choice. And he's like, there's always a choice.
Yeah. And so I was like, I guess, she's having to throw her lightning or whatever.
Which, do we hate Varrish yet?
Yes, we do.
And a little bit of Professor Carr.
Well, I'll get to it, but he kind of, at some point, eventually is like, that's enough.
I don't know. I think he should have stuck up for her from the beginning.
I guess so, but... so yeah, this is her punishment for not having Andarna show up.
I don't understand the secrecy.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, I'd just be like, she's sleeping. She can't show up.
I think. Yeah, I don't know why she can't. Just
Unless
say
they
that.
think they're gonna like go in there and try to find her, but then what? The dragons will eat them.
Yeah. Then we learn the school has a brig. Mm-hmm. Like, what the hell is it? Why does school have a jail? Basically?
Because it's a scary school.
I guess so. But I quoted Riddick, it's always something around here. Then...
But yeah, her punishment is that she's just like repeatedly striking lightning.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where, just over and over and over again. And Darna starts to wake up. And it's like, is this because of me or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Taryn tells her to go back to sleep this time. And then this is when Carr starts to get worried about her. Because they're at 32 strikes, and he had never even seen her do like 25 or something in an hour.
Yeah.
But Varrish just keeps saying, again. And then Taryn says that this to Andarna that this is an example of when dragons choose poorly. Which I think that's in reference to Solus, right?
Yeah, because he gave, I think he said like this maniac wasn't the word, but
barbarian
like barbarian,
yeah.
more power, and he shouldn't have gotten more power. Yeah. But Solus doesn't seem like a great judge, like a great character either.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, you're supposed to hate this man. That's the whole point of his character. He reminds me of Umbridge from Harry Potter.
Yes.
Like, you just are filled. There's like no redeeming qualities, but
no.
Yeah, and she's like at risk of overheating and burning out, and he's like, whatever. She'll learn to bring her dragon. And I just don't understand like
what his deal is.
That and like, oh, why not? Why can't she just be like, yo, can't, you know?
Yeah. Have Taryn scare Solus. You know, use her big scary dragon.
Yeah.
Then she reaches, or before, while she's doing that, Taryn directs some wind over her.
Yeah, which was kind of sweet.
To try to cool her down.
Yeah.
She hits 40 strikes. She's close to burning out. Taryn's pretty pissed off. Carr is making the case for Varrish to stop. He insists on one more. And then it's like she does it, and she's like stuck.
Yeah, because at this point she's already collapsed.
Yeah.
And he's like, she has one more in her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like she can't let go or something. Destroys part of the ridge line. She finally shuts the doors in her mental archives.
Yeah, like Taryn's
or
like yelling at her through the bond.
And then Carr does finally put it into it.
Yeah.
Which I agree he should have done that.
I mean, I don't know if this is normal punishment. We haven't seen punishment, but I don't think it's normal punishment.
No.
For this type of thing.
Yeah. But apparently this was just the warning.
Yeah.
It's like, what a jerk. What's his problem?
Yeah.
So then Taryn picks her up in his claw and flies and dunks her in the river.
Yeah, like try to cool her off.
Down, yeah. And he had like signaled ahead to Imogen's dragon, and Bodhi's there too. So they're all there waiting on the riverbank for her.
Yeah.
And Aya, whatever her name is, she's there too. But they're all pissed, that Varrish used this as punishment. Taryn says he will take care of it, whatever that means. I want to know what it means. I want to see him be big scary dragon.
I mean, what do you think it means?
I think he's gonna go take it out on Solus, hopefully. So then they just walk back up to the quadrant, and then it jumps ahead to Friday. Just jumps ahead.
Yeah, crazy.
Like they're gonna go get her something to eat or whatever.
Yeah.
So then Sloane still sucks at sparring. Has not improved. Taryn won't let Violet out of the saddle for the running landing.
Which I'm like, yeah.
No shit.
It's probably a good plan.
And he said, I think Taryn made a comment about like it wouldn't need this maneuver. People would just stay seated. Like, just stay on the dragon. Oh no, I'm sorry. That wasn't that. That was in reference to the RSC thing later on.
Yeah. You're right.
I'm getting mixed up. Anyway, he still doesn't like the maneuver. Right?
Yeah.
But, and then there's apparently a physical remnant of her near burnout, And she says it feels like a bad sunburn at this point.
Yeah.
That sounds horrible.
I think it's like, I mean, they've basically tortured her.
Yeah.
This school is nuts.
I know.
Are you still wanting to be a writer?
I mean, yeah, because dragons. Duh. And then, so Sloane was sparring, someone was sparring, and she hears a name, a last name, and she's like, Jasek, like naval, whatever, Jasek. Apparently he was it's his brother who's sparring, but he was the one, the second year, who was hauled away by Markham, who had been listed on the death roll a couple days ago. So we learned that he's dead. He killed him. Well, officially he was found beaten in his room, but of course someone killed him. We don't know what for. Imogen and Violet are talking about Jacinia. Imogen's a little suspicious. Violet thinks she's okay. Yada yada yada. And Sloane is just getting her butt handed to her. Terrible. But like she won't ask for help. She won't accept their help.
Yeah.
So it's her own fault. And apparently some of the Foster families stopped training the marked ones after Xaden climbed the ranks.
Yeah, which I was like...
Why?
I guess because they expected him to die.
I guess so, yeah.
So they were like, oh, we'll foster these poor orphans because they're going to be killed.
Yeah.
And then they didn't die. Which I think is kind of crummy, but
yeah. I guess they might also thought basically the one in charge of all of them is rising through the ranks. He's going to go start his own rebellion or something.
That too, like they don't want them trained to be able to
join
to do it.
Xaden Ryerson's army.
Yeah.
And so then Violet lets it slip to Imogen that she knows where to find the challenge list because she makes a comment that she knows who Sloane's fighting. And Imogen's just like, how do you know that? And she's like, this book my brother gave me. This book I'm not supposed to have. Which Imogen doesn't even give a shit about.
Yeah, she's like, whatever.
And yeah, Sloane won't take the help from Imogen.
Shocker.
Of course. Riddick comes up behind Violet and like grabs her shoulder, scares the crap out of her. She whips around and holds a knife to his neck because she thinks it's someone coming to try to kill her.
Yeah, Riddick, don't be stupid.
I know. And so she's all on edge about someone trying to kill her as they're going to their physics test, which I wrote down. She's not going to pass her physics quiz because she didn't study. And that's really what I want to know in the next chapter. Does she pass her physics quiz?
I feel like you're not going to know that.
These are big plot details that I need to know.
How do you know she didn't study? Did she say she didn't study?
Something like that.
Oh, yeah, because Rihanna was like, well, you should have helped, told me I would have helped you. Yeah.
And then that was the end of that chapter.
No, then there's bags over their head.
Oh, really?
Right?
I don't remember. I never read that part.
Yeah. They get snatched.
Oh. I'm looking for the book. Oh, yeah, I guess I read that, but I didn't...
You didn't note it?
I didn't note it
Yeah,
down.
there's bags over their heads.
Huh.
And they get snatched out of the hallway.
Okay, well.
Which, she's probably thinking they're going to kill me.
Yes.
Because we don't know what's happening. We don't know what it is.
Right.
But that's the end of the chapter. They have bags over their heads. So. And then chapter 14, the little quote is about there's a natural distrust between infantry and riders. Riders never trust that infantry has the courage to hold the line when the dragons arrive, and the infantry will never trust that the dragons won't eat them. Which I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't trust that either. But
it seems like they should do some training.
Yeah, together. Well, I mean, they are.
I mean, they are, but
but not
outside
really.
of this.
Yeah.
Like,
also,
all right, infantry, here's your class on not running away when the dragons show up.
Yeah, if dragons are such a huge part of their military, And all these people, even the people who show up to Basgiath the first day and are running from them, how are they not more, they should be more introduced to these things if they're such a big part of their military.
Yeah.
And yeah, the infantry shouldn't be scared. They should know they should be taking the Dragon 101 class.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, she wakes up.
Here's how to not get eaten by the dragon.
Yeah,
don't run away from it.
Instead of relying on them to, tell them how to... anyways.
Yeah.
So they wake up to smelling salts. Professor Grady is there, so it's the RSC class.
Yes. And they're in the forest.
Yes. And she's all worried because Xaden's supposed to arrive tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And she tells Taryn that if she doesn't get out of here, he should go see Sigel. And he's like, no, I'm not going to leave you. But...
And this is where he was saying that this course would be unnecessary if people would just keep their seat.
Because he's kind of irritated, which I would be
stupid,
too.
It's pointless.
Second squad is there, along with 2 groups of 8 infantry cadets. They, again, focus very much on, how they are in their uniform, and it's perfect, and everyone looks the same, and then they all have, these adjustments to their uniform, which I was like, the uniforms are going to come into play at some point, where they're going to make them all look the same, and they're all going to hate it or something, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it will. Yeah. I don't know, but, they're obsessed with it.
Yeah.
It talks about, she has, slits to be able to get her daggers. Rhiannon has something.
Someone else, Sawyer doesn't have sleeves. Riddick just ripped his sleeves off.
Yeah, he didn't go to, the tailor, and he just ripped them off. So I imagine they're scraggly. Silly.
Also, I always thought this thing was, an individual test. I didn't know it was going to be a group effort. When they got snatched. I thought it was going to be individually. They'd be taken. But apparently not.
Well, maybe there's other...
At least this one.
Yeah, this one is a group effort.
Yes.
They give them water. And...
She notes that
Violet's like, they need to take better care of their canteens or whatever.
They stink.
Yeah, they
taste funny.
Taste funny. Which I'm like, you're supposed to be smart. You're supposed to know about poison. But... she starts to ask Taryn where they are, but she notes the connection is already muffled, and then she's like, oh my gosh, it was the water. Duh. They all kind of start freaking out about that.
Yeah.
And
they're like, it's not right.
Yeah, the other squad leader's name is Thomas. We learn a bunch of characters in this episode.
Yes.
Or this chapter.
Yeah.
There's Thomas with Mirabelle, Cohen, and Brisa.
I wrote down, does Mirabelle talk about Bruno?
That's funny.
There's also Cohen. Did you say him?
Yeah, Cohen and Brisa.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear that. I just heard Brisa.
So they got infantry, riders, a scribe, and some healers with them.
And I wrote down, one of them is going to die at some point, right?
Well, I don't know. Is that
that was my prediction.
That was your prediction?
A bunch of random characters, mostly just first names. Someone's going to die.
I will say this chapter was a little bit exhausting because they introduced at least 8 new characters, and then they had a lot of back and forth dialogue, and I was like, I can't even remember.
Supposed to remember
who is who.
There was a cadet asshole who's named Calvin, and a cadet Quiet, who I don't remember what their name was.
I'll get to I have the rest of the names in a second, but I will say this is what I wanted in the first book, an insight into the other sections of the college. You get to kind of learn about the infantry, and you get to learn about the healers and the scribes, and I do think it's kind of a fun mix-up, right?
Yeah.
I don't appreciate 8,000 characters that I have to remember. Their point of this exercise is they have to find the location marked on the pass and secure it, and then they will on the map, and then they will secure it, and then they'll be extracted. The hard part is they have no connection to their dragons or their signets, which they're like, this isn't fair. Which I guess it's supposed to mimic if they don't have their dragon, but whatever.
But the infantry have apparently been doing the land navigation
Yeah.
since their first year. So it's like you've got to work together. They are better at this than you. They should be better at this than you.
Yeah, so they're like, there's got to be a catch. And here's the catch. The other team's dragons will be hunting them.
Yeah, because there's another team on the other side of the forest.
Yeah. And then there's like a couple of unbonded dragons. I don't understand this school. Why are they killing off everyone? Right?
Yeah.
Like, does
Especially because they keep complaining that there's not enough riders coming in.
Because guess what? Newsflash, you're killing all of them. Like, I get maybe the beginning before threshing, I guess. I mean, I think it's pretty terrible.
Right.
But, like, after that, why are you killing people who are actually bonded with dragons? I don't get it. I don't get it. So they have Dry.
I thought it was Dire.
Dire, probably. I can't.
Dyre.
Yeah, I can't pronounce anything.
Deer.
Dire is the healer. And
Aoife, I think. It's an Irish name.
Aoife is the scribe.
Yes. I think that's how you pronounce that.
I
Could be
mean,
wrong.
Better than me.
Aoife.
Huh?
Aoife.
I wasn't even going to attempt because I just said dry instead of dire. So, basically, they get the map, and they each get a map, and they're basically just arguing. Yeah. This is where a lot of the, like, I don't remember who was who, right? Back and forth.
Don't remember who's arguing for what side.
Yeah, like, I was like,
because there was a bunch of riders in, like, the second squad people. I don't remember who they were.
Yeah, because do we know? I thought second squad was Thomas.
I think so, yes.
But then, like, who's the infantry people?
Calvin, I think. I don't honestly remember.
I don't think I wrote them down. But too confusing. That's all I gotta say is just confusing. They're arguing where they are, but they've traveled 4 miles and they still have another 6 to go. But they're basically saying, like, oh, we're definitely in this...
in this forest.
Yeah, but then we're in this forest.
Nowhere in that one.
Arguing, saying, like, oh, we can't have gone far because our dragons wouldn't have flown you out here. You had to take a horse. Which I think is pretty good logic. Yeah. But then they're like, no, definitely we are here. Like, just back and forth. Brisa finally was like, hey, can I see that map? And they kind of were like, you got a map. And she's like, let me just see it. So they give it to her. And she finally figures out. I've skipped a lot of the arguing because it annoyed me.
During the arguing, Riddick makes friends with Cohen because he's basically his squad's Riddick.
Yeah. Brisa's like, I think I know why this feels like we're going nowhere. They gave him 2 different maps. So they were supposed to work together.
Stupid.
But and again, I'm confused on who the infantry is. Like, why do they... Is Brisa... No, Brisa's second squad.
Yeah, because it was a second squad with the equivalent
the
second squad in the infantry and fourth squad with the equivalent fourth, whatever it was, second wing, fourth, whatever it was.
So Thomas isn't in the second squad. He's the infantry?
No, he's a rider. Because he was mentioned in the previous chapter with the sparring.
See,
I do remember him.
So confusing.
Yes.
Anyways, whatever. I don't know. While she's figuring this out, they're arguing. Rhiannon's like, wait. And she throws up her hand. And of course, here we go. There's a dragon. And guess whose dragon it is? Jack Barlow's dragon.
Of course.
So, Violet's like, everyone needs to put their eyes down.
Yes.
And not run. Which she's like, we should have stopped arguing and we should have had a lesson on Dragon 101. And I'm like, you think? But, it's like smelling them. And it's like kind of starting towards her and like snapping its teeth at her.
Yeah.
But.
And, Rhiannon calls all the riders to the front, like, put them in between. And then that's when Dire is just like staring at the dragon with his mouth open like an idiot.
Again, I feel like they need some like they need to see them and interact with them.
Yeah, so then they quickly shove him into the back.
Yeah. And then Gwen, which I don't think we've talked about her. I don't know where she belongs. Gwen starts running.
I think she was one of the infantry cadets.
Okay. Yeah, Gwen panics and runs.
I wrote, oh, great.
Rihanna's like, get down. And so Thomas runs after her and yanks her down. But I think he's still like standing there.
Something.
In the middle of all this, Violet, of course, begins reciting her nonsense. Girl, we don't need that right now. Right? I didn't even write it down. I don't care. And the dragon, I think, blows fire.
Yes.
And then he leaves, and they like turn around, and I think Thomas is dead.
Thomas, and
I don't know if Gwen is gone.
I don't know. I at least said Dunzo dead.
Yeah. And
Mirabelle starts throwing up.
Yeah. What an end to the chapter.
And then Rihanna then explains to the infantry, that's why you don't run.
Yeah.
I was like, I agree. They could have explained that.
Yeah, but apparently everyone just wants to run. It must be very scary.
Must be.
But I think I would stay still and quiet. But maybe not. Maybe I would run.
Maybe.
So yeah, is Gwen alive?
I don't remember.
Is Thomas dead?
I think so. I don't remember who Gwen belonged to, so.
I feel like she might be infantry.
I think so.
I thought I wrote their names down, but obviously I didn't.
Okay.
Again.
Lots of names.
So many people.
To forget right away.
Very confusing dialogue. Were you confused?
A little. And a lot of it was like, my squad, our quadrant's better than your quadrant.
Yeah,
no, our quadrant's better than your
like
quadrant.
High school crap.
Yeah.
Like, come on. But, yeah, so what do you think's going to happen in the next chapter?
They're gonna win.
You think so?
I hope so. Or they're going to continue this. I don't know.
Yeah. What do you think of RSC?
I mean, it seems kind of stupid. They're just tripping around in the forest.
I'm just like, don't they have actual other classes and they just like leave periodically?
I guess so. Like, was there really a physics quiz?
Probably.
Did they miss it?
I would assume they just go back and take it later.
I hope so.
I don't know.
That's really what I'm worried about, is that physics quiz.
Oh my gosh. You're never going to find out about it.
No, it's not, that's all right.
Well, what did you think of these 3 chapters?
I mean, they were fine. Nothing, I'd say nothing much happened, but I mean, some stuff did happen.
Stuff did happen, but it almost was a little bit more filler. I mean, she got tortured basically with the
we learned
punishment.
To hate Varrish a bit more. Mm-hmm. We learned a little bit more about the wards.
Which was confusing.
We learned that Xaden's willing to fight to spend time with her.
Yeah.
Or at least willing to fight so that Sigel can spend time with Taryn. But I think he wants to spend time with her.
I think it was to spend time with her because Sigel's off.
That's true. Sigel can do what she wants.
Yeah. Unless he was gonna have to go like
on patrol
or something.
That's probably what it was. And then we're now in this RSC, which is them.
How do you feel about the long distance love?
I don't know. It's fine, I guess.
Yeah, but compared to like
it's
the
weird.
last book.
I guess it's kind of odd because, Xaden's not there all the time. But
yeah, because we didn't talk about it, but when she's burnt out and she's laying on the shore, she's like, I miss him. Yeah. Like, I wish he was here, which was kind of sad. Mm-hmm. She probably felt like crap, and then he wasn't even there.
She needs the wing leader.
Yeah. But, so as a non-reader, how are you feeling about this book?
It's a little more straight to the action than Fourth Wing. Mm-hmm. Not that Fourth Wing wasn't, but there's less setup, if you will, because there was a lot of like just discussing. Oh, now we have to do parapet. Mm-hmm. Now we have to do the gauntlet. Now we have to do presentation day. Mm-hmm. Now we have to do threshing. Blah 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 blah. But then it stopped that, right, with war games and whatnot. But I don't know. It's fine.
So do you like this book better, or do you like Fourth Wing better?
I think I like it, I guess, better because I know the characters already.
Okay. You kind of know the world.
Mm-hmm. I know slightly what's going on. But
just curious how you're feeling. Well, next week we're reading chapters 15 through 18. So 4 more chapters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we're not halfway through, so you still got a good portion of this book left, which I guess could be exciting for you.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot more to happen. So.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
But we should be done with part 1 on January 16th. And then part 2 will start the next week. So
2 parts in this book.
So, and if you're not following us on Instagram, go follow us, because I listed the whole schedule for the whole like outline of like what we're reading for each week, so you can plan accordingly. Yeah, do you have anything else you want to add? Any predictions where this book is going?
I think obviously we got to tie Brennan and team back in. You can't just
what do you think is going to happen with that?
In the beginning. Obviously, I think there's going to be more venom to kill. I don't know exactly.
Do you think he's going to like come out of his little city? Do you think the mom will find out, or his sister?
I kind of hope at least one of the, or he makes his grand entrance. It is I, Brennan. You thought I was dead, but I'm not. Just tisk. Here's why you're bad.
Yeah, because we really haven't seen a lot of Mira.
No, we haven't.
So, really, we've seen a lot of school, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got to find out what happens if they make it out of the woods.
True. Will they ever make it out of the forest? I would imagine so. I would imagine. Okay, now if they don't ever make it there, do you think they come get them and say you failed, or is it just you die? You failed, you die in the forest.
You tell me.
I'd like to think they'd say, okay, you fail, but come on, back to the school, and not just let them die in the forest.
I don't know. They're pretty harsh.
Or I guess that poison would hopefully wear off eventually.
Yeah, that's true.
Say, come get me, dragon.
Yeah. Yeah, how long does this poison last?
I don't know.
Did you even know there could be such a thing?
No.
I think this is the first we're learning of it.
I know.
So, crazy.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, any other wild predictions?
Not today.
Nothing?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, not that nothing happened, but not a lot happened to where you could predict anything.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, I think that's our episode. But go follow us on Instagram. Leave us a review. Yeah, I think that's it. So we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.